I wanted to get onto this article. We'll talk about reform and restore. A few things I want to go over. A lot of things I've got to read today. I want to talk about the new donor to reform, who they're very happy to announce. Now, if you remember, I've been saying consistently that reform is basically a Trojan horse for American Zionism. With people like Jason Perlman, people like Dr. Alan Mendoza, the Reform Jewish Alliance, I said that this is heading to a direction where reform will seek to take power to work as a subsidiary to America and use our country as basically a military asset that America can use to help Israeli expansion and Zionist expansion in the Middle East, whilst raping our North Sea and taking away our oil. With things like 94% of reform's campaign funding coming from large Middle Eastern oil companies between 2021 to 2024. The reason for that is obviously when they get into power, if they were to get into power, they would then open up the North Sea with this whole drill baby drill, like Richard Tice likes to go on about, and the people that would be drilling baby drill would be foreign Middle Eastern companies that are taking our oil for their own economic output, their own profits, and using that oil back into the Middle East to help progress wars for Zionist expansion, like the Golan Heights, like South Lebanon, like probably Turkey, all of these different places. Now, I've been going on about this. Now, this came out today where Nigel Farage has a new billionaire backer. A new billionaire backer. An Iranian-born property magnate is expected to become Reform UK's largest billionaire donor as Nigel Farage builds a war chest to fight an early general election. There is no early general election. The guy is called, and I'm going to butcher his name because I do not speak Sand, Sasan Gandehari, who has pledged to donate millions to Reform after deciding that Mr. Farage is, quote, the only person who can change this country. Now, I actually did a little bit of digging on this chap, and this fella has described himself as a power broker, and his main passion in life is geopolitics. And he said that Mr. Farage confirms that he has seen firsthand how well connected he is to major players in the Middle East and elsewhere. Now, this is the funny thing. Him and his wife were behind a £100,000 donation to Reform a few months back before the local elections. So he's been involved in Reform already. He has big connections in the Middle East, as we know, big connections to the Israeli government, big connections regarding geopolitics. He is aware of people like Dr. Alan Mendoza, and he has a role within Jewish Reform Alliance. So there are multiple different connection points here, and it does not take a genius to put two and two together to figure out the reason because of that is the fact that they're so focused on geopolitics is simply for the reason that geopolitics are what are dominating Western politics. It's what are dominating Western parliaments. It's what are dominating our societies with refugee crises, with the expansion in the Middle East leading to millions of foreigners flooding our countries, with UN conventions like the 1948 Refugee Act, where we have to now import our fair share of foreigners, with the illegal boat crossings, with the illegal plane crossings, with the illegal lorry crossings. All of this plays a big part together because, frankly, these people, including Farage, view us as nothing more than an economic zone. They do not view us as a people. And that's obvious. I've been saying this for ages. That's why Farage is looking at the working white man. That's why he's talking about building up those relations with the unions. That's why he's talking about trying to actually manufacture a right-wing nationalization kind of coalition. He's trying to move away. I mean, Farage is a Thatcherite through and through, but he knows damn well that if he can promote the idea of like nationalization, talking about getting the furnaces, the blast furnaces back up, talking about our steel industry, talking about the coal that's sitting under Wales. He knows if he can do that, that appeals to the white working man whose family and generations would have been coal miners, would have worked in steel factories, would have worked in mills, would have worked in all of these different areas. That is what he's appealing to. That's what he's been trying to do the entire time. It is Thatcherism with a Trojan horse. A Trojan horse of this idea of watered-down nationalism. It's Thatcherism on top of Zionist expansion, on top of American imperialism, on top of American militarization, backed by rich foreign billionaires, which are shoving multi-millions into our parliament, into our system. They're basically lobbying. And the reason for that is so when Farage takes power, if he does, he will be their bitch. I mean, this same donor, this Iranian-born donor, I'm just going to call him Sasan. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his last name. But Sasan is the same guy that paid for Nigel Farage to go to Davos with the World Economic Forum that happened earlier this year. He paid £50,000 for Farage to go to Davos. And what did Farage say whilst at Davos? He said he was there to stick it to the globalists. He was there to stick it to the WEF. He was not. He was there to pander to them. He was there to promote gold. He was there to promote cryptocurrency. He was there to promote the idea that Britain needs to make use of Commonwealth countries and talk about immigration from Commonwealth countries. At the same event, they're talking about India's economy going to $47 trillion. No, that's a lie. $7 trillion by 2047. Where do you think the Commonwealth immigrants come from? They come from India. Most of them. There's 1.6 billion Indians. So when Farage is going to these events funded by these foreign billionaires, which are now funding his party for obvious malicious reasons, and he's talking about, well, we need to make use about our Commonwealth allies so that we can use the skilled immigration from there to help Britain's economy. And he's talking about drilling in the North Sea and nationalising our industry. What he's actually saying behind the mask of Britain First is we're going to sell off our resources to big foreign investors. We're going to sell off our national resources to big foreign companies. We're going to rape our own people, and we're going to give the profits offshore so that we can help with the expansion of Zionism and the expansion of the American imperialist empire. It's all there in front of you. It's been there in front of you for a while. The game is obvious. The chessboard is set. We are the pawn. They are the knights, and then the queen is Israel, with the king being America, and they're ready for it. These billionaires are at the back. They are the castles. They're waiting. And it's right in front of your face.